Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday today. The weather seems to be really nice, so we're going to enjoy a beautiful day with the Fiat 126P. However, before I start the video, I would like to inform you that the main character of this video today won't be my Fiat 126P, but a car that has been presented on the Geneva Auto Show in 2017. Back then it was introduced to the world as a concept car. However, in the end of 2019 it's been finally released for general sale, and here in Austria sales started at the beginning of 2020. However, because of the current health crisis around the world, sales have been really in the back of people's minds, so they haven't really started. Therefore, you haven't seen any of those cars on the streets, or personally I haven't seen any of them. So as I said, this car has been introduced to the world in 2017 as a concept car, and I would like to add another detail of its direct competitors. In my opinion, the most dangerous competitor at the moment is the Peugeot 208e, because the data is basically the same, the car has the same dimensions, the same reach, so therefore I see it as the biggest competitor at the moment. Furthermore, you can add up the Renault Zoe, which is a rather smaller car, but its price is its advantage, its reachability, and obviously because of its size, it's the perfect car it's the perfect town car. On the other end of the spectrum, you might add the VW ID.3, which currently is not available for sales, but I'm sure Volkswagen will start an aggressive campaign as soon as the car is available. Probably offer it for a cheaper price than today's car. So as soon as the ID.3 will be for sales, I'm sure it will get to the status of the first and prime competitor very quickly. I will inform you about more details when we reach the car dealership, which allowed us today for this little test drive with this car. Unfortunately, the drive itself would only take around 30 minutes because there's a lot of demand for this car to be driven, and so our time window is very narrow. I will try to mention as many details as possible, take some photos, and obviously I will explain the photos in detail afterwards. But for now, that's it. I'm going to hop into the car, go to the dealership, and I'll see you there. So we're already halfway there to the car dealership, and in order to shorten the drive a little bit, I would like to tell two short stories. So the first one is concerning the current update of the interior of this car. So in the past week I've been talking to a company that is specialized in upholstery, obviously, and I was talking to the guy there. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough time to go with me through all the details, so he basically just told me that the price for the two front seats would be around 2,200 euros. So if the entire price for just only the two front seats is over 2,000 euros, and that's just a part of the entire job, so it appears to me that this the total sum would be totally unreasonable for this kind of car, paying roughly 4,000 euros for the upholstery of the interior seems to me rather enormous.
Obviously I will be talking to other upholsteries in Linz and around Linz. I've been talking to a friend of mine who said to me that one colleague of his used to do his interior outside of Linz. So this is absolutely feasible to go there because obviously it's in the vicinity. So I will be checking out this company next week, and so hopefully this guy will have the time to go through with me all over the details, because an estimate without going through anything is quite unreasonable. So hopefully this guy will have the time, the patience to go the details with me. So that's basically the first story I wanted to tell. The second story is actually concerning the starter of the car that I had changed or substituted a few weeks back, and apparently it was not the starter that was faulty, that the car wouldn't restart after having driven it for a couple of minutes. But the problem actually was the battery of the car, or at least it seems as the battery was part of the problem. I talked to another friend of mine who suggested that I should be checking the output of the battery. So I did that, and the output of the battery when the car was standing over the night in the garage was below 12 volts. So I checked the battery in my green Fiat 126P, and its output power after having been standing in the garage for over a week was 12 volts 78. So a lot more output power than in the battery of the orange car. So I switched those two batteries, and now I have to thoroughly check if this indeed was the problem, part of the problem. So just to be sure that I've made some progress. So I'll be driving this car around the next week for a lot to check if the problem now has been solved or if there's anything else to do. I was trying to change the ignition and already making appointments to another car shop, but for now I have cancelled the appointments. I stopped switching the ignition itself. So for now, hopefully the issue was with the battery, so the car will now start whenever I want it to start. Obviously that's quite frustrating when you go somewhere with the car and then it won't restart. But as always, I'm thinking positive. So let's wait and see for over the next week. I'll be testing the car, driving the car, restarting the car, and then I'll be sure. We're now closing into the dealership. It's just a few more minutes. So for me, that's it right now, and I'll see you at the dealership. See ya there. So hey guys, we've just arrived here at the dealership. So let's head in, do all the paperwork that it's necessary to get the car for the short drive for today, and I'll see you later then. However, let's check out some other cars that this dealership has to offer. So basically this is a dealership that trades with obviously Fiats, Hondas, Alfa Romeos and Jeeps. So you can see there's a lot of different Fiat 500s here on sale currently, different types of Fiat 500s, obviously different cars as well. So this dealership has a lot of different cars to offer, obviously new ones, used ones, and yeah, that's the entire parking space of this dealership. So as I said, let's head in, do the paperwork, check out this interesting car, and as I promised you in the beginning of the video, I would like to share another fact of this car of today. So it's been presented on the Geneva Auto Show in 2017. Its direct competitors will be the Peugeot 208e, possibly the Renault Zoe. However, this one's a little too small, I guess. The Toyota Yaris, and in the future the Volkswagen ID.3. Another detail is, talking about Volkswagen, this particular car that we'll be testing out today, as it was introduced as the concept car, looked similar to the Volkswagen One from the late 70s. So hopefully with this detail you can narrow your choices down. And yeah, let's check this car out. See you. The opinions in the upcoming video segment are mine and not necessarily the ones from the car manufacturer. Furthermore, this video material is for entertainment purposes only and not for commercial reasons. So hey guys, we're here inside the Honda E. As we only have a short time window and I've already spent a few minutes talking in German, so let's go through some details very quickly. The steering wheel is very nice. It has its regular round shape, but no problem there. Obviously in the new cars we have all digital displays all around. So here we have two main displays. Here right in the middle you can switch them as you need them. So here on the left side we have some technical data for the car, and here on the right side let's just switch to general settings, and then you can switch here in the settings around. The side mirrors have been replaced with the digital cameras on the outside, so that's something you have to get used to, but honestly I have driven the car for just a few minutes and I've already got used to them. Here in this car we have a glass roof which lets the sunlight very nicely into the car. The rear view mirror has been substituted with a digital display as well. So all in all, there's a very big focus on digital displays and digital technology. A little farther down there we have some inlets for the HDMI, USB drives and power outlets. And in the back of the car there's enough space for two adult people and a small child. So if you have a family trip somewhere around the vicinity of your town, this car has enough space for that. So let's go outside, take a look of the car and its features on the outside. Let's start here with the side mirrors. Obviously with this car the physical side mirrors have been substituted with digital cameras, which is a point that one has to get used to, because obviously when I enter my car and I have to adjust my side mirrors, obviously I know how to adjust them in order to have a clear visibility into the back of the car. With the cameras themselves it's a little bit more difficult, but after a minute or two the settings are pretty basic, so that's not a problem. A little further down here with the wheels. Sorry, a car is just parking here right next to us. The rims of the tires are pretty different to regular combustion engine cars. Unfortunately, I don't really know the reason for that, but obviously you can see here the front side of the wheel is covered here almost totally. So let's head into the back of the car and talk a little bit about the details. So here we can see the difference between the car as it has been presented on the Geneva Auto Show in 2017. Back then the shape here was totally different. It was more reminiscent of the Volkswagen 1 Golf from the end of the 1970s, or if you can draw a comparison to my Fiat 126P, the back of my Fiat looked somewhat similar to the one presented on the Geneva Auto Show. The taillights have been changed slightly as well, and the same changes were done here as well, because it had a square shape than a round shape. Unfortunately, our time has come to a close. We have to bring the car back to the dealership, so there's still a lot of details missing. I will be taking some photographs of the outside of the inside and go into more detail on them. Hopefully you enjoyed this short overview of the Honda E, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye bye. Hey guys, so we're on our back home now. We finished the test drive, yeah, maybe 15 minutes ago. So I had to catch my breath a little bit, because as I said in the beginnings of the video, I have never driven an electric car before. So everything was new, especially with the car having only one pedal for acceleration and braking. So that's all new to me. So I was nervous, but the anticipation was way bigger than the nervousness. So I thoroughly enjoyed the drive. As we only had 30 minutes, there was only so much that I was able to cover. Obviously, it was short on some details. I didn't have much time to prepare for the video, and 30 minutes is very little time for a thorough review of a car, especially when you're not a pro reviewer, but just a novice. But as I said, I really enjoyed the ride, although it was only 30 minutes. The car's acceleration is enormous. It has, according to the specs, 150 something horsepower. Obviously, with an electric engine, there's no power loss from the pedal to the street. The tires are exceptionally well chosen for this car, and driving it is absolutely fantastic. As it is an electric car, obviously there's not as much noise, or any noise, as with any other car, or especially my two Fiats. So that's something to get used to. But that's something that you can get used to very quickly. What seems to be a no-go for people is obviously the cost of an electric car. Obviously, there's new technology. It's new technology, so the prices are basically pretty steep for small cars. If you consider that this car, the Honda E, the Peugeot 208e, Renault Zoe, Volkswagen ID.3, Toyota Yaris, and all the other electronically driven cars, the i3, the BMW, which we just passed, all those e-cars are really small, especially designed for cities, towns, are really expensive. So none of those cars, except for the Renault Zoe maybe, is below 30,000 euros. So that's a really massive price for a car that you can only drive in around the cities. You can't go with an electric car as of now to Vienna, to Munich, or any other longer journey, unless you want to take the trip for a lot of hours and so on. So they are impractical for longer distances. Although nowadays, if people have to go a little bit farther, they either use the trains or go by plane anyway. So, but for mid-ranges, let's just say here from Linz to Innsbruck, I wouldn't manage to go there with one fuel tank. So I would have to make a stop, charge the car. However, with different options of charging the car, obviously there's rapid loading, or whatever the exact term is. You can load the car within 30 minutes up to 80%. So obviously those are the possibilities. However, people are used to having their fuel engine car, their combustion engines and so on. So changing people from the regular cars to electrified cars will take some time. It won't go from now to tomorrow. So that's an undertaking for the next decade possibly. But for me, if I had the opportunity, the possibility to purchase an electric car, I would definitely go with the Honda E, because not only is it a new car, new technology, which I'm fascinated with anyway. It has somewhat retro look, and that's very appealing to me. Its shape still looks somewhat similar to my two Fiat, so that's a point right there. It's a Honda. Hondas have always been very reliable cars, so that's another point for this car. When you compare it directly to the Peugeot 208e, the Peugeot is a couple €1,000 cheaper than the Honda E, but there's an issue with the warranties. And in the past, my father had 2 or 3 Peugeots in the past, and after the warranty has voided after 3 years, there were always repairs necessary every other year, and those were rather expensive. So there's some arguments that just work against Peugeot, in my opinion. So I was really impressed with the performance of the car. The interior looks spectacular. There's basically no buttons, there's just a huge display, and wow, I am at a loss of words. But I will go through the footage in detail at home. I will include some photos that I will explain in greater detail. So I hope hopefully you enjoyed this different video than the others. It was a special surprise, and that's it for this video. I'm still heading home. It's again a different way that I went there. I'm going right through the center of Linz. There's a lot of traffic right now, but I won't bore you with the drive home. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.